You're watching Understanding Bigfoot. Why understand Bigfoot? Because we know they're real. Now, let's start Understanding Bigfoot with your host,
Thank
Mike
you, Sean
Scott.
Seaball. Mike Scott with you again here on Understanding Bigfoot. Coming to you from the beautiful weather now here in Cape Girardeau. 70s today, sunny, a little breezy, but it looks like it's going to be a good week. We're recording this. It's the Monday before Easter weekend, and our guest tonight is Kenny Busby from the state of Arkansas, and his wife Cindy may pop in and chime in a little bit as well. But we recently, just on Friday night, tornadoes have devastated parts of Missouri and parts of Arkansas, and we went through that, and we want to send out our condolences and prayers to all the people in those pathways that have been devastated by that, because we were, like many other people, on alert and watching the weather and seeing some of that destruction. So our hearts go out to them and prayers and so forth. Susan Perez is with us. Susan comes also from Cape Girardeau. She's the director of the group in Southeast Missouri out of Cape Girardeau, the SEMO Bigfoot Encrypted Research Group on Facebook. Check that page out. Getting close to 900 members on that for a regional Facebook group, although we've got members from all over. Becky Pepper, a former Arkansas resident, now living in Nacona, Texas, joins us from Nacona. And ladies, it's good to see you guys this evening. And let's welcome Kenny Busby from Northwest Arkansas to the program.
Welcome, Kenny.
Good to have you here, Kenny.
Well, good to be here, y'all. I look forward to a great chat with y'all tonight, and I'm just here to just share anything that I can share with you. And yeah, we have a host of, well, a whole family of Bigfoot. And anyway, and we'll share with them the most about them that we can tonight.
All right. Our show is Understanding Bigfoot, and I have been following Kenny's work for probably about 7 or 8 months now. And I've been, some of the different groups that we're both connected with. Probably so. Dave Parker's group, Daryl Denton's group, some of the different groups that we're both associated with. And Kenny provides input from what's going on in his place down in the Arkansas Ozarks. We normally talk about the Missouri Ozarks, but they go down into Arkansas. Kenny's in the Arkansas Ozarks in northern Arkansas. But Kenny has a unique situation, because on your property, Kenny, you've got a family of Bigfoot. And what better way to get an understanding of how the Bigfoots, the Sasquatches, how they are, what a better way to get an understanding to hear from somebody who lives among them, if you will. And that's Kenny Busby, his wife Vicky, just off camera. Kenny, tell us, when did you discover that you guys occupied the same property, and tell us how all that got started?
Oh, okay. It was, I guess, about 6 years ago. It's been almost 6 years ago, I guess. And we just kept noticing something, just really weird. Just now, let me go back a little bit. I have to go back in my childhood just real briefly.
Okay.
I've always known Bigfoot ever since I was a kid.
Right.
But
me too.
But we called him Booger Man back then.
Okay.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, especially different parts. Don't let the Booger Man get you.
Correct. And so anyway, but this particular family, about almost 6 years ago, and they just started coming by the house. Me and my wife had just moved, and and we had went down on. Actually, we had never went to the creek before, and or down back on the back part of the property anyway. And but man, these guys would come by all the time, and they would make sounds all the time that were not. Uh, uh, I don't know how to say it, but it didn't sound right for the time of night. It didn't sound right for the time of year. It didn't sound right for the time of anything.
Sounds that otherwise weren't natural to the woods, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, and then they would come up there and, oh, yes, they would face us. We had this one kitchen faced in the kitchen, the window faced out towards the woods. And yeah, we seen Junior there one night, and he was standing straight up, and you had to be at least 11 foot to be standing straight footed into that. Yeah, into that, I mean, into that window. So that was really weird. So.
And is that the first time you saw one then through that kitchen window?
I would believe yes.
Okay. So.
Yes, I would believe that. Yes.
So you've heard the strange
out of this family, yes.
Okay, out of this family, okay.
Out of this family, yes.
So it's your property. You've heard the strange things. You've heard the, and then I'm leading up to this, and all of a sudden, boom, you got that sighting through the kitchen window, and at that point, you knew what you were looking at, and you knew what everything started coming into explanation.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been around the booger man all my life because I was a coon hunter.
Right.
I was a nephew of a champion coon hunter, and he had all sorts of trophies and everything. I had been out in the middle of the night many a times. As a matter of fact, I was out one night. I was like 7 years old, I believe, and it was so bad. I mean, her name was Duchess, and it was so atrocious. It wasn't even fathomable to me as a kid, because I loved Duchess to death, because she was a prize coon dog to my uncle,
right?
And so we go out coon hunting one night, and she just trees a coon one night out of the blue, like she always supposed to do. That's what her job is. That's what she's trained for. But she was a yelper. And you know what? A yelper never makes it around an alpha male. And when we arrived there, we heard just like that.
Mm.
They just, he just broke her in half. And so when we got there, he had broke her in half. And I said, Uncle Leo, now I'm still like 7 years old, you know? So I'm like, Uncle Leo, now I've seen a coon whoop a coontail's butt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they cannot tear them in half.
No.
And he finally kept hitting me as we was walking through the woods. And he finally just said, shut up, boy. He goes, it was the booger man.
Mm.
And that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and that's what he meant. And that's always what he meant. And it's just, man, I can put myself back in that day today. I mean, that was awesome. Not really, but
yeah, but that's just kind of stayed in your mind.
That's something that stays with you, though. You're not going to forget that.
It always stays with you when you were a kid. I mean, you go to all these coon dog hunts where his prize Dutches would win prizes and stuff. And then we go out coon hunting one night and then she gets cut in half.
Oh my, yeah.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty bad for me as a kid because I loved that dog. I fed that dog every day. I watered that dog every day. And that was back when dogs were not allowed in my house.
Right.
You know where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah.
I'm 50 years old,
We grew up in a house like that.
Yeah, I mean, so I hope y'all understand that.
And then changed the rules when we got our own house.
Right.
So
but anyway, okay, go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
So here we go. First
we can ramp up if you want to.
First experience, 43 or so years ago when you were 7,
right,
in the coon woods. That first experience on the property 6 years ago through the kitchen window, outside of as far as the sighting is concerned. We're not talking about the sounds. Now we evolve into today, where you have a family, and they are also considered your family. So let's just talk about some of the stuff going on now.
Okay. Well, our family got started about probably, I don't even know about saying started, but we started noticing before that, and then we had the in the window thing.
Right.
And then I started going out looking, and I searched, and it was for just footprints and stuff like that, because I knew how to do that.
Right.
But so what we did one day is we went back to the creek, and one day we were just back there. We had our fishing poles in hands, I do believe, and we weren't really fishing per se, if you know what I mean. I mean, we were just there just to exhume the wildlife,
to get a feel for it.
And I was standing there on the side of the creek bank, and I looked over and I heard some crackling over there. This is first Daddy. This is when I first met Daddy.
Okay.
And I'm glad we got to meet Daddy first, because if you meet Daddy first, he will let you into the other part of the family.
Yes. Makes sense.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
We got very lucky that time. So I was like, well, now this is, when I looked over at him, I didn't think this was cool at the time. I was like, I didn't expect that, because we didn't go down there for that.
Right.
But
and it's a little different when you don't have a house wall between the two of you.
No, that's the first time we ever met one of them out.
Right.
When we were out in the forest, you would say, and Daddy come and met us, and that was awesome, and it very well might have been him in that window that night too.
Could have been. Now, what Daddy do? What what he just kind of show himself and leave, or?
Yeah, that's really all he did.
Okay.
I mean, they've never really just. I can't even sit here and tell you anything, because I mean, if you're looking for researchers or anything like that says they have some animosity towards these beings, it's not us. because they've never ever posed uh, a threat towards us.
So
Ever.
they haven't thrown rocks at you. They haven't done.
Oh yeah, they throw rocks all the time.
Okay, but not in an aggressive manner.
No, not in an aggressive. They throw them because they want us to let them know they're there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The first time I ever seen Daddy, I looked over. I walked back up to the creek bank, and I looked over to the right, and I heard the croc hit the water. Which they usually did that. They always do it. They still do it to this day. And anyway, Daddy just looked at me around that tree. He'd shown about half his upper torso to me, just looking around the tree,
Yeah.
And man, he was about 13 and a half, 14 foot tall.
Oh,
and
that's a big one.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. I didn't even know what that's one of the only 2 times I've ever been spooked by our Bigfoot family. And I call them family. I don't call them clans. I don't call them anything else.
Right.
That's the only time I call them. They're our family. But that after that, I was so proud about that because I knew that if you had Daddy letting you in, I knew we wouldn't have a problem after that.
If you've got his seal of approval,
Right.
you're going to be
Exactly.
good. That's like, I don't the height, the 13, 14 foot height is what's unconscionable because, it's 10 foot to the basketball rim in a basketball court. And then you're going up to the top of the backboard.
They would just walk down the court and dunk on you, brother.
If you're in a basketball gym, that's
they wouldn't have to jump. I mean, they're taller than the goal, so
yeah,
That's impressive.
So
it is impressive. Why I do not know. The Lord let us meet Daddy pretty much first. I mean, it was just something that was meant to be. And you know what? And we'll get into that. Oh no, we got a whole lot more to get into tonight.
Well, if you're going to get accepted into the family, I mean, the matriarch of the family.
We got
the
to meet
matriarch of the family, if you will. To get his approval first. The rest of them are going to fall into line. I mean, it's not like you meet one of the juveniles, but the parents don't like you, don't play with you, and it tells the juvenile, don't play with those people.
That's
you don't have to deal with that anymore. You're in. They like
exactly. That's what I try to tell people because that's how you get in. We just got lucky and done that on this family. I just got lucky and seen him. He let us in.
Well, and it's rare from the people we've talked to, the people we've had in the program, from my own experiences, it's rare to have that meeting, that first encounter or any encounter with the alpha male. Usually it's the juveniles or the females that you're dealing with.
It was very rare.
Yeah.
It was very, very rare. But I remember just walking back home that night and I was like, well, I just seen a 14-foot Daddy. And I was like, okay. But I looked at it as a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how much better can you get it than if a 14-foot Bigfoot does not run you out of their area and they let you stay there.
Right.
Right.
He said, go ahead and stay there and fish.
Exactly. So we took it and ran, and I mean, and that's a fact. We just took it and ran, and then we started seeing others and others and others, and we've got 12 now. Now it's taken a long time. I'm trying to make this out to be really quickly done, but it's not.
Right. Take your
This has
time.
taken several years. It's
Right.
taken many years. I mean, we've named 12 of them now. We only name them if we see them. If we see them, not if we hear them, if we see them.
Okay.
We've named 12 of them so far. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's what the really good thing is so far is we got initiated by the daddy right off the bat. So that gave us the inlet to the rest of the family, because he trusted us. And that's what I always want to say that too, is because if you're not an empath, I really don't think you're going to see too many Bigfoots. I really don't. They know when you're carrying guns. They know. Yes. When you have bad intentions, they know.
Yep.
Mhm.
They know when you're carrying cameras. They know. And they know when you're trying to take videos.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a fact.
I've kind of
That's
figured,
just my opinion.
well, I've kind of figured that out to an extent. And don't even attempt to do a lot of that stuff anymore with the cameras or the spotlights or anything like that. But they do know that, they do sense that and everything.
I had a question.
Go ahead, Susan.
I had a question. With there being 12 of them, how do you tell them apart? Are there different markings? Are they different colors? I'm sure they're different sizes, but how do you initially tell them apart?
How can you tell each one is different?
Oh, they're all different. I mean, they all have different personalities. First off,
Okay.
they all have different looks. Every one of them is different.
Okay.
Well, no, I say that except for the twins. We're the only people that we know that have twins on our property, the property.
Wow.
That we've ever saw born. They're 4 years old though. Now they are. They're 4 years old. So, I mean, but there's a male and a female. But they all have different looks. We have one named Whitey. Sissy. Look at on Daryl's. I posted a picture of what looks pretty much like Sissy.
We'll get a picture of Sissy, and at this point, Sean can put that one up there. And now that you mentioned Sissy's a female, but she
looks.
I tell you what, you'll see in the picture. You had, I believe it was noted Bigfoot artist Linda L. Wood drew this picture after your description of her, and she looks very, very human in the face.
She does. She's the most human-like Bigfoot I've ever seen. And we've seen 12 of them, at least 12 of them in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And we're very close to a lot of other ones that just got so close that hasn't shown them to us yet.
Right.
But we're just very close to seeing them probably.
And we want to thank Linda L. Wood for allowing us to use that picture. And and share and doing that drawing for you. Very noted. You can look up Linda. She's got her own stuff, and we'll put a link to it
Yeah.
in the program. So, hey, so while you're talking about the twins, you're talking about Sissy. Talk about like if they're how big would a 4-year-old be if one of the twins is now 4? How big would a 4-year-old male be? Just out of curiosity.
A 4-year-old male?
Yeah.
I'd be about 6.5 foot tall.
Wow.
I mean, really, they grow about 6 inches a year.
Okay.
At first.
Right.
Now, they stop growing as fast when they get older.
Okay.
Like in their teenager years.
Okay.
I mean, that's what we've come to know. But they usually grow when they're very first born, like Archie right now. He's going to be at 2 this year, and he's going to be about 4 foot tall.
Okay.
But
2 years
you know
old.
what? Yeah, he's going to be about 2 years old. And you know, they grow a little bit quicker when they're younger. You got to understand their acceleration of growth is a whole lot more accelerated than ours are.
Well, I mean, it has to be if they're going to max out at twice their average height.
Right.
It's going to be twice our average height.
Correct. But a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, how is he going to get that tall? Well, let me tell you how, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I just tell you the facts like I see it.
So
I do have a question too.
Go ahead, Becky.
Well, okay. Have you heard any vocals, or can you describe like the vocals that you've heard out of this family?
Oh my gosh. Could I describe any vocals? Matter of fact, I might get my wife to send those over to you right now.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, these are some of the most amazing vocals I've ever heard of in my life.
Send them to me on the email, and then I'll get them to Sean, and we can get them plugged in at any given time here. We can listen to some of these vocals.
Hey, he's still down there. He's drinking his Gatorade or his energy drink or something.
He's here.
He's still down there. Hey, Sean. I know it, man. Hey, how you doing, bro?
So Becky asked about the vocals. Are we talking about verbal vocals?
Oh man, these are awesome.
Talk to us about what you're hearing.
Oh, Mike, this is when we think Sissy. This is Sissy, definitely.
Okay.
This is the one that I had Linda L. Wood put in the group the other day,
right.
Daryl's group.
Yeah.
That was the picture I had Linda L. Wood do a recreation of. And anyway, this was her that day. And we think she was having Archie. This was about 1 year and 3/4 ago now.
Okay.
October of last year, or 1.5 years ago, or 1 year and 3/4. Anyway, so, but man, y'all got to listen to the end vocals. They are freaking. Now, when you listen to the end of them, you've got to hear the of the Bigfoots, because a newborn has been born.
So this is her giving childbirth.
Yes.
With Archie.
We think so. Yes.
Wow.
We really do think so. Are we 100% for sure? No. but we've never heard her sound like this, and we've never heard the rest of the males sound like this back to her when they were out hunting. And she was like, he's fixing to be born. And you could hear them coming in quicker and quicker, a little bit quicker, a little bit at a time. And they got louder and louder and higher pitched.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. And then at the end, and people said they were like, oh, it sounds like a freeway. Well, I'm like, sir, well,
A
well,
freeway in the middle of the northwest Arkansas Ozarks.
right. That ain't happening. So,
Nope.
okay, so you think there was a freeway there? Okay, well, the nearest freeway is 100 miles away. All right, that's great.
Well, we're
There
looking
goes
forward to getting this audio out to the folks. I'm telling you that right now.
My wife's trying, but man, I should have got up with you on this audio before.
Hey, that's that. Hey, we'll get it.
I mean, I can play.
And if we don't get it, we'll have to do it again. But now, you also, speaking of Sissy, while we're talking about Sissy, you've observed her holding the baby,
Yes.
feeding the baby.
Oh my gosh, you're bringing
Tell
up
us
that.
about that experience.
Oh man. Hell, I'll just keep on smiling all day for that
That's
one.
okay. That's great.
You know, we got down there one day. I don't know. We heard vocalization. We usually always hear vocalizations, y'all. I mean, we really do. And we're very, very fortunate for that. I mean, I'm very, very fortunate for that. I mean, people look for a footprint. We've seen hundreds.
Right.
I mean, and I feel so bad sometimes, and so does my wife. I mean, people would love to have seen so much Bigfoot stuff as we've seen.
Oh yeah.
Why they show themselves to us so much, I don't know. But I think it's because we're impish. So, and anyway, but we get down there one day, and we're just sitting down there every time. Sometimes we'll just sit down there and sip on a beer, just to chill.
Yeah.
And Vicky, she'll sit down there. My wife, we have two different spots. Sometimes we sit in the same spot. Sometimes we don't, but we always have, I mean, for a different perspective anyway. I mean, sometimes we sit apart. But anyway, so we get down there one day, and we're hearing some vocalizations and everything, but it's been really a pretty quiet day, to be honest with you, as far as we're concerned. And I was like, dang, baby, about ready to go? She goes, I don't know. And I was like, okay. So I went back up. I think I went back up. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that.
You got the same thing I've got.
Yeah, I know. Man, in Arkansas this time of year, if you got allergies, yeah. But anyway, so we got down there. Anyway, And we were about to leave. And I said, let me go back up here on the bank one more time. We have a gifting spot. I'll get into that a little bit later, how we gift our our family. I because we do it intentionally a certain way.
And what
And I
and
want
what we'll do, we'll finish this story out with Sissy, and then maybe take a break and let you get something to drink and everything like that. Then come back and do a part 2, and we'll
okay,
talk about your gifting program, and then we'll cover more bases that way, and we can separate it out into 2 different programs. So,
okay, that sounds good to me.
okay,
Okay,
let's do it that way. So go ahead, and
all
let's finish about Sissy, and let's talk about this situation with her.
right, okay, let's do that. All right. So anyway, so I get back down there and I get back up on the creek bank because in the Ozarks, you it's not like lower Arkansas in the swamps or anything. When
Right.
you, I mean, when you're in the hills, you got to climb up on a creek bank, you know. So I climb up on the, not climb really, but I get up on the creek bank, and I look over to the right. I'm hearing some vocalizations over there. Just as we usually do. I mean, it's not really a big deal to us. And I'm like, okay, well, that sounds good. I said, I'll see y'all later or something like that. And I look over to the left, see nothing there. And then I look back over to the right, and then right in the center, right across the creek, there is Sissy. The very one that Linda L. Wood tried to mimic, and she done a very good job, by the way. I, and there she was, and she was nurturing Archie, or nursing Archie. Sorry, nurturing, nursing, whatever. Anyway, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I just stood there, and I'm like, I didn't even know what the hell to say. I
Well,
had
yeah.
nothing to say. I mean, I couldn't even say, "Come here, wife. Come over here and see it." I couldn't even do that. I mean, it was just so unbelievable. It lasted like 3 freaking minutes. That's how long it lasted.
Did you get to see it?
Yes, the whole 3 minutes.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
Does any of their vocalizations sound like a language, or are they just like whoops and hoots and yells? Or do you hear any of what they call the samurai chatter, where it sounds like they're talking in a language?
I'm not too familiar with the samurai chatter, but I am familiar with them. I mean, we communicate with them quite often, just through regular English, for real. I I mean, they know your English. Don't think they don't. And they know your demeanor. They know everything about you. And we we can get in mimicking here in a little bit too in the second half of this. But I'm telling you, they have mimicked us so close that I thought it was my wife behind me when
Yeah.
he laughed,
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
when Junior laughed. They can mimic, they can do everything. We'll get more into that. But as far as Sissy, that was probably my most awesome that probably most awesome experience that I've ever experienced in my life, to be honest with you. And I'm just telling you that.
That's the ultimate honor to be able to see that. And you, but now she wasn't alone, was she? She had
Oh no.
had some
Oh
bodyguards
no.
with her.
Oh no. Oh no. No, a female is never left by herself, especially in one of our presents. I promise you that. Oh no. There was Junior to the left and Trey to the right. One of them's 11 foot tall at the time. One of them's a 12-foot taller at the time. Oh no, she wasn't left alone. She wasn't gonna be. No, that was meant for me to see.
Yeah. Sounds
And
like
that's an awesome thing, you know. And we already knew Junior before that. We already knew Trey before that. And I knew both of them standing beside her. But do you think they would betray her? Heck
Oh
no.
no. Oh no.
If there were anything that ever come in, they treat their females like queens. They are queens in their family, and they will do nothing. Nothing. They will always protect their queen, and that's a fact.
I don't have near the interactions you have or near the experience that you have, but from what I have observed in 3+ years,
Uh-huh.
they are very highly disciplined in their family structure, much more so than humans.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so structured. They have, I mean, there's a papa, and some people may not agree with me on this, but I agree because I know. But Papa, he's just there. He's like an old one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the younger one come up and took his place.
Right.
Which we call daddy. You know, and that'll take place for years until the next one comes up. And they have a very structured family. There's no doubt about that. They always have a very structured family. They go hunting on time. We can talk about that a little bit later too. I mean, they go hunting on time. I'll talk to you about what they go hunting with, who they go hunting with.
I'm curious about that one.
Yeah, I got all that information too.
I'm gonna tell you what. Let's do
or
this.
what we think is that information anyway.
Let's do this, Kenny.
Okay.
Let's wrap this one up, and we'll take a little break. We'll come back, record a part 2. We'll talk about the gifting program and their hunting and miscellaneous stuff like that, and do part 2 with Kenny Busby. So let's do this, folks. You're watching Understanding Bigfoot. We got Kenny Busby from Northwest Arkansas, his wife Vicky, Susan and Becky. Let's say so long this time on this program, and then when we come back, we will introduce part 2 shortly after the release of this program. So, folks, thanks for watching Understanding Bigfoot. We'll see you shortly with part 2 with Kenny Busby.